Welcome back to the most professional StarCraft 2 with the greatest StarCraft 2 player of all time. In the blue, it's the finisher, Serral. Stacked up against the most relatable Terran, the People's Terran from Team Liquid, we have Cure. A best-of-3 Terran versus Zerg showdown. And whether the quantity of Cure's units can stack up against the quality of Serral's micro, well, that remains to be seen. But speaking of quantity and more importantly quality, it'd be awesome if you could smash that like button and maybe even subscribe. And Jimmy, what are we? One more. 1,417 likes on this video, on this cast. And I'll cast another one. And I'll probably do it anyways. I don't know what else I'd do with my life. But thank you for watching. Hopefully you've had a good day so far. And hopefully it's about to get a little bit better than both of these two, as Serral has snuck by 6 Zerglings. Could potentially cancel the command center. Very unlikely. There was a Marine behind. The Reaper already coming back across. But there's nothing in the wall. The Zerglings are in the base, but the boys are pulled and will calmly escort them out. Waiting for the Reaper. Might be able to get one. Picks off a single SCV, and he's delayed the command center. And this is all cover for the economic explosion back at home, as Serral did not get gas, but instead double expanded behind these 6 Zerglings. And, Cure, you know he has an Overlord there, right? Oh, he's very aware. Are you... Wow. The spite. The thing, oh my god, Serral is moving his Overlord away at such a perfect angle, the Marines don't spot it. So any attempt by Cure to get that high ground vision and pop the overripe tomato that is an Overlord is going to be shut down before it starts. And no shame at all. He's just giving Serral this information. He puts the third, he knows the Overlord is there. He could build it in the main, and he could hide that information at least a little bit longer, at least attempt to but no, does not care one tiny little bit. And Serral will be very aware of what he's dealing with, which is the 1/1/1 Terran. A Viking is on the way, trying to mask whatever the follow-up is, but the problem is now Serral, he's already got the creep on the way. He's got 3 bases done. He's pumping out drones. Overlord comes in. In fact, did he get far enough? He didn't see anything there. He didn't see the starport, but the Viking will give away what the starport's been doing. And oh my god, the timing was so perfect that Serral will get away until that brave Viking will murder the defenseless Overlord as it slowly, oh so slowly floats away. So, first blood. That was not it. There were 6 Zerglings and an SCV earlier, and apparently the Reaper died as well. But first aerial blood. That sounds uncomfortable at best, and only gets worse from there. But the Viking invading the base. The Queen, though, sir, get off my creep! Oh, Brenda, oh my god, we talked about not game 1. Shut up, Susan. I don't. Well, losing the Viking, the initial Reaper, Cure right now, kind of handing Serral both a lot of information and a few extra units, but he's not called the People's Terran for nothing. What he doesn't, he doesn't excel at the almost imbalanced looking micro that Clem can pull to the table. All right, well, Clem can flip the table, break off one of the legs, and stab Serral through the eye with it. And then Serral looks at him and says, well, it'd be nice if I had ghosts. Which is, you know, you're disoriented in that sort of situation. It's a tough time. And really, when you get to that point, you're just desperately trying to find a way to bring that joke all the way to the finish line. But at the end of the day, sometimes those jokes aren't going to land. Unlike this factory on the tech lab. As Cure makes a switch into the mid-game production, focused on 5 barracks, siege tank on the way, and, of course, the double upgrade. Serral's going to be going with the mass roaches. Already an infestation pit as well, which is not particularly early in the grand scheme of things, but considering almost nothing else has happened, he will be starting a hive, very likely before the 7-minute mark. And the Queens will repel the early Hellions, pushing them back across the center of the map. And now Stim is about to complete, but there aren't that many Marines, and the medevacs aren't done yet, and somehow this Overseer without speed just kind of casually strolled its way through the base, much to the anger and strong words of the Marines, but they weren't actually able to get many shots. Okay, now he's just taunting him. Come on. No matter what flavor of Overlord Serral has, he's going to get all the information. Not that Kier's been very adamant about hiding it either. More an Octo-Rex play. More SCVs on the way, so Kier not fully committed to the 3-base timing here. But, oh my god, Serral's at 80 drones. Serral's at 80 drones. I need to say, we need to raise the decibel level. That's more important. You need to know that this is ridiculous. 80 drones with a hive, double upgrade, speed for Zerglings and Banelings. The Changelings will spot most of this. The Banshee, no cloak, driven away by the Queens. The creep spread is like half the map already. Serral has not been missing a beat here. And, well, Kier's going to be looking for something of a remix, or at least a base drop later on. But for now, we'll settle for clearing the creep. So a little supply block, lost an Overlord, but now all the upgrades are coming together, and there's no real reason to sit back and defend if you're Kier. You need to put some pressure on out on the map. Or, well, I guess the one exception, I did not... Apparently Serral expected it, but he was looking for Overlord... he was looking for medevac drops with this Overseer. But of course Serral has an Overseer directly on another command center building. He knows the 4th base is happening. The roaches can come through the rocks, but the drops are already on the way. Viper's halfway done. Adrenal glands in production. +1 melee attack and +2 Zerg carapace as well. Kier starts his 2-2, but he made it through the mineral wall, but that might hurt more than it helps. Well, getting anything through there. Kier knocks out the Overseer. Banelings trickling through. Gonna try to chase this down. Serral. Oh my. Well, the Marines, they didn't get the fast pass into those medevacs, and many of them will regret it. And the rest will be dead, so I guess technically no regrets. Hydralisk Den now on the way as Serral kind of not so much techs up as expands sideways here. A more balanced composition in order to deal with the medevacs. At the end of the day, if you don't chase down the medevacs themselves, if you don't have basic anti-air built in, you're going to have an almost impossible time of dealing with the constant drops. And get... what? Yeah. Yeah. Take that. He yanks the medevac in and then promptly realizes he doesn't actually have any anti-air. But next time, you watch out. Well, there are dozens of Zerglings and Banelings on the map. You're just kind of turtling up. He's got the planetary fortress at the 9 o'clock base. Adding more command. It looks like he's just going to expand towards Serral's main. The Banshee. Queen takes it out. Another unit just picked off in the midfield. 2-2 now done, though. Key set of upgrades for Kier, who's now adding Gosan. He's willing to just sit back and turtle up, and how is Serral going to handle this? If he takes the entire rest of the map, he can afford to trade almost 2-1, which, against this sort of composition, is not unheard of. The Banelings, not that many of them. Even with a blinding cut on the tanks, it's not guaranteed those Banelings will actually connect with anything but the depots, and even that is a bit questionable. Vikings. Is there any answer to the Vikings here? Just one angry queen, but otherwise... yeah, the Vipers. Huh. Burrow done. No Hydras with the army yet. Yeah, he does have the Hydra. He's already got the groovy spines on the way. He finished Hydra speed first. Just prioritizing. Even some Marines there. But a weak point. Yanks in the tank. The Banelings are rolling in. looking for more opportunity. The Ghosts, they don't have Cloak, and the choke point is becoming a death trap for the Terrans as the Banelings roll through. The Blinding Cloud, a bit questionable. Vikings, an entire Scandinavia Vikings over here, which Serral should know how dangerous that is. Parasitic Bomb comes through. But this whole invading fleet of Vikings is more than enough to deal with the Vipers. And how did that fight even go? Kira definitely killed more, including much more gas. Serral kind of doing his prodding attacks that he's so good at. Looking for weakness. Maybe he can get a killing blow, but he pulls back before losing any critical units. He did lose a lot of Banelings in there. I think maybe a Viper? Yeah. But now he's got 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I gotta count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 bases. 8. All right, the Ocho. Meanwhile, Cures slammed down on 4, going on 5. So the main bases are mounting out for both sides as we get into double-digit minute mark. Serral is expanding the tech tree into a full tech shrubbery. He's got the Ultraless Cavern and the Spire on the way, 2 very different directions to fill things out. He's going to have access, I think, to every single tech that Zerg can own. Is he missing anything right now? With the Ultra Cavern and the Spire on the way, he's making a tactical Nidus in the bottom right corner. Just Brood War-esque. Honestly, playing it like it's StarCraft 1 here against the Turtle Terran. Not that Serral was particularly old when that came out. The Vikings melting to the Parasitic Bomb. Corrosive Bile just knocks out a siege tank. The Nidus, I'm sure... Kira, if you looked on the mini-map there, at Kira's mini-map cam, he scoured his... He heard the Nidus scream and immediately scoured his main base. He also has some Marines back there. There is an Overseer in the corner. Of course, the Nidus in the bottom right, but the fear is real. 3-3 now done for Kira. Serral's working on his +3 attack for melee, +2 ranged attack, and he's got already got +3 Carapace done. Fires off. Oh, I didn't know where the corrosive bows were going for a moment. Knocks out some of the missile turrets and the sensor tower, so it's going to be a little harder. Kira doesn't have that massive orbital, but he has 5 orbitals. Pretty good, but not so many that he could just scan the entire map all the time. He's adding in Hellbats. But Serral now has 37 Banelings, 100 Zerglings. He's making his Spire great again. He will not let Kira have this base. And yanking the tanks down to make sure they can't defend it. Takes out a couple more. Parasitic Bomb knocks out some medevacs, or at least softens them up. Forces the base to lift. At some point, I think it's going to be better to make this into an orbital. Not quite yet. There's no building upgrades, no high-sec auto-tracking. This looks like a tough position to dislodge. But if you look closely, there's actually just 2 siege tanks, and that's it. Well, and the like 24 ghosts that just showed up, but before that, just overrunning. And Kira's forced to load into the command center. The creep, this is... Well, the Banelings are rolling in. The Ghosts dealing with them pretty easily. Serral is very adamant about hitting this base, but with the Ghost count growing, it's getting a little harder to actually force him out of it. 11 Ghosts. Building armor, high-sec auto-tracking, fusion core is on the way. Another Nidus in the top left corner. As Serral has taken almost all of the other bases. There's only 1 base left to be taken on the map. And it's that middle right corner that I think Serral's just going to slap a hatchery down momentarily. Meanwhile, Liberator spots the base. Drones dodge. There's a bunch of drones in the Nidus. A nuclear missile is on the way. Thors are now here. Vikings knocked out. As Kier is just made almost no attempt to really break out and is just trying to play a war of attrition, but Serral is really making him work for it. Throws out some more blinding cloud on the ground. Corrosive bile almost knocks out the Liberator. Doesn't quite get there. SCV repairing it, because for some reason they can repair air units but not attack them. Makes sense. So, Serral has lost less gas and about 1,000 more minerals, which is obscenely efficient, considering he's dealing with ghosts, Thors, Liberators, nuclear... No, we gotta do the thing. Let me see it. Fires a missile! Oh my god. Is Serral going to manually detonate banelings? Where are you going? Like, he knows you're there. Oh, he hold positions the Zerglings to hold the ghost in place until he can get detection, because he knows exactly where it is. They body block the ghost until the spore crawler can burrow. Blinding cloud on the tank, as well as the planetary fortress, can still hit things in melee range. Knocks out the planetary, and he is just dismantling Cure piece by piece. Over 9,000 minerals. There's nowhere on the map that Serral doesn't see, and he doesn't even need scans for it. Serral's, oh my. Everything. The moment that Cure steps anywhere outside of his already established bases, and even if he stays there, nuclear launch detected. The missiles fired off up to the north side, mostly a distraction, kind of like the random Nidus worms. Though Serral's been making great use of them. Looks like Cure may be able to drive out the base. The nuke lands and mildly inconveniences at least one spore crawler. Almost 100 Zerglings and a few dozen banelings on the field. The Liberator's getting yanked back. The efficiency is so remarkable. I guess when you're used to playing Clem, anyone else is, just the fact that Serral is losing less gas than the Terran. And Cure has not been overextending. He hasn't been extending at all. Like, he is fully compressed here. As there's still... Is there a creep tumor back there? No, but there is a Ravager. As Serral is expanding like the AI, which will just keep taking bases. There's no light at the end of the tunnel here. Serral is banking up money for next game. 3 investors on the way. Liberator sieging up, but there's just not the stopping power here. This is... So, well, it's pretty painful to watch. As Serral is just... He's just picking them apart. I don't know how else to put it. Like a reverse jigsaw puzzle. And it is quite a quandary usually dealing with this sort of Terran. But the Hydras, the Lings, there's finally enough units removed from the map that my frame rate is not noticeably lower. Which, this map is kind of notorious for that. But Serral's been constantly sitting on literally hundreds of units. He has how many creep tumors? 96! And that isn't even the high water mark. Cure never even got close to enough economy to trade like this. Well, considering Serral's being more cost effective, you need more bases. And, well. There's an infestor underneath. The fact that he's done all this without infestors. Cure never got +3 mech weapons, and he has no plating upgrades either. So, it's not easy, but relatively so to take out. Oh my god, the fungal from underneath. somewhat anticlimactic, as the ghosts will survive, though the parasitic bomb still doing terrible, terrible damage. 32 more SCVs dead. The mules drop as Serral, the stonk market taken off. The mules will, oh my god. He had one mule left. You gotta repair that! Ah! Not even close. It was less than 10 HP. But, you know, more than one, so plenty. Well, so it looks like Serral's gonna do it again. This has just been a clinic. Just never, ever, ever overextend. Use your spellcasters sparingly, but effectively. Take the entire map, and then just bash them every time they try to take a 5th base. Sometimes it's the 4th base, sometimes the 5th. But here, well, Yanks in the Liberator, well, Yanks out of siege mode, more accurately. Siege tank has to just stand by and wait for the Zerglings to take it down. And Serral backs off, because where are you gonna go? Here barely has the minerals to repair his command centers. Serral has over 9,000. What, 9,000? And here we go again. The Nidus. Cures orbital burns. Oh. Ah, yes, the scouting Hydra. Honestly, against the... He was even stutter stepping it. Now, why can Hellbats be healed by Metavacs, yet Hellions cannot? Just asking questions. Well, Serral, not even being wasteful with his Zerglings. He's gonna go burrow him in the corner. I doubt Cure has... Oh, he has 6 orbitals still, but... Cure has as many SCVs as he started with. Another scan used. Why? It's time to die, Cure. Honestly... It's bad. This looks like he's like smothering a toddler with a viper pillow. Slowly but surely, Cure is dying. And this has continued for like 15 minutes. At no point has it looked like Serral maybe took a couple somewhat costly fights, but it always cost. Oh my god, he queued up a triple abduct. Unburrows the infestor in the midst of the ghosts. Draws friendly fire down. I don't know if that was intentional, but I love the triple abduct timing. That was beautiful. And Cure finally taps it out. Serral takes it. It kind of goes without saying. He finishes the game at 11,000 minerals and 6,900 gas, which wow, a bit more one-sided than a Mobius strip somehow there, but Serral with an absolutely uncompromisingly dominant performance, you know, makes me a little jealous. But here we are. Jimmy, game 2. Ah, yes, of course, we're going to Crimson Court. Crimson Court, I still don't understand why so many Zergs are enjoying the Crimson Court against Terran. I guess there are worse maps to deal with. At least you can play a more drawn-out macro game. That might be some of the thought process. Ah, Cure. Not 1, not 2, but 3 barracks. This is no compromise, no holds barred, full-on triple proxy racks, cheese-filled, lactose-enabled. This is the cheesiest and most dramatic. There is no fallback plan with this one. This is not Reapers. This is not Marauders. No, you wouldn't do that against Zerg. It is just straight up triple proxy Rex Marine. And he's put it in. Serral has just hedged his bets with his Overlord here. He will get a little bit of extra warning, but not particularly. Oh no. The drones are pulled preemptively. So if this is a 2 Rex, then the drones are a big part of it. 3 Rex, though, the Marines build up so quickly that it's a very dicey maneuver to pull the drones off the line. But here we go. The Neighborhood Watch is ready to defend the natural. Well, at least by this far out. He's trying to buy time to get Zerglings. Loses 5 drones in the process. But the Zerglings are out. Kills one of the SCVs. He's not out of the woods yet. He's very much in the trees at the moment. The bunker's gonna finish. It's on the creep. Pops out of the bunker. The bunker should be in range here. He's trying to get enough Marines out there to maneuver and potentially pick off some of the drones, which they can't do from the bunker, but here comes everything! The Queens are pulled off the line! The drones as well. The Zergling's trying to zone out the rest of the Marines. That bunker isn't dying quickly, but it is dying. Serral is down to 10 drones. Oh. Economically hamstrung. He stopped mining gas in order to maximize that drone count and that Zergling count. Now is back to it to get Zergling speed. But this has been a successful proxy Rex. It is a testament to Serral's tenacity that he isn't dead yet. But I'm gonna go ahead and say yet, as it is nearly impossible to recover from this position. Of course, if there was anyone who could. Serral is just continuing to build Zerglings. 1, because against 3 Rex Marine, look at the Marine count. Susan, here it comes! I know, Brenda. I know. That is so many. 17 Marines to 18 Zerglings. The Queens have a couple transfuses. He hasn't used any injects because he's trying to build up transfuse energy. Zergling speed on the way. Serral is still just building Zerglings. Gear double expanding behind. If he could somehow get a Bane Nest. Thing is, 26 Zerglings don't beat 18 Marines. Even with speed done. That is just not enough. The critical mass of Marines has been reached. He can just stutter step back. He's gonna try to overwhelm him with the Lings. We'll see. Maybe if Cure panics and miss micros here. He's gonna try to fight. And Cure doing a... yeah. Well. And he built the depots. He crossed his T's, dotted his I's, and built the depots on the top of the ramp. So now Serral is building drones again. Oh, God. So in much the same way, and also a very different way, this is now Cure in the position of waiting for Serral to tap out. Because technically, if Cure overextends multiple times and somehow squanders a almost unfathomable advantage, then maybe Serral can come back. Much like Cure for about 10 minutes in the previous game, maybe a little less, was in a position of, well, if Serral somehow throws away 3 armies, then maybe I can scratch and claw my way back into it. I don't think the deficit is quite as large as Serral ended up having, as the advantage Serral had over here in the last game. And it's kind of hard to gauge because it's a very different stage of the game. But very simply, Serral had he had less than 12 drones. Like, that is... The Great Depression for Zerg, indeed. As soon as, you know, I could almost hear the sigh from Serral. Just the look. Like, whenever he's facing Clem. When he went up that ramp and there were 3 depots there. Before that moment, there was a dream. Like, maybe he's like Beyond. He's so greedy, he just doesn't wall off. He's gonna try to end it with Marines. He just doesn't cover his bases like that. But that's why Cure is still one of the best Terrans in the world. Not flashy micro, or as we saw last game, not even that flashy of builds, but he covers his bases. Yeah, well, so Cure is he just pulled back. He's just doing a standard build. He's got a bunker just to be safe, but when you start on 3rd base, it's not hard to score. And that triple Rex got him there. There's not too many more ways to slice it here. So, as long as those Marines are not intimidated by the fearsome nature of the 3 queens and 3 Zerglings that are left, then we should be going to a game 3. As even Serral is vulnerable to the most committed and well-executed of proxy Rexes. Cure, it was a huge game. If Serral had scouted it with the Ovi, especially if he had been able to pull drones before the barracks finished, that's probably a loss before the game even really starts. But that's the nature of the cheese. This wouldn't work 3 times in a row, but if it works once, that's so much better than nothing. Alright, so he still has to close it out here. He still has to face the Banelings and whatever else Serral has been able to muster. Serral has managed to get over 50 drones. He's got Bane speed on the way. He's clawed his way back up, and then Diascan to clear creep. There is a tiny, infinitesimal risk of Cure playing so safe that Serral just kind of gets right back into it. But that's mostly something I'm saying to have something to say that isn't, yeah, it's bad, it's really bad. He's super dead, but he's Serral. But even Serral is super, like, Baneling speed finishing is a hope. But again, the double upgrades, the full production. Cure has full 3 base, all his barracks online. Not just 5, but he's up to the Octo Rex. Serral is getting +1 Carapace. A 3 upgrade advantage for Marines is, well, at that point, they're like the mercenary Marines. Baneling speed finishes. Double drop headed towards the main. And Serral, well, we haven't really seen much of a fight. I think Cure's just waiting for 2-2. It's almost certain. He knows the timings. He's going to have an upgrade advantage. Picks up, why is that SCB there? A sacrifice. Double drop. Man, there's no built-in anti-air here. More Banelings on the way. The spawning pool's dead. I don't know if he needed that. Seemed kind of important. Wow, Serral's down 80 supply. Just the sheer efficiency of these Marines. They have plot. Oh my god. Serral just taps it out. Like, there was a dream, but... Wow. Kira was not messing around. He never committed to a fight where the Banelings could actually hit and turn that around. It just wasn't gonna happen. So that sends us to game 3. Alcyone. 3rd time these two face off. It's been, the pendulum has swung both ways now. We'll see if we can meet in the middle. All right, Jimmy. Like and subscribe so I can get some real help. We've seen a clinic from both sides. Serral on how to close out against the Ghosts and the Liberators. Cure on how to capitalize on that early advantage. And now we have an epic back and forth, action-packed, and unpredictable late game in store, based on just meeting in the middle. Or it could be a stop one way or the other. Right? Or anything in between, which I've covered everything now. So you're welcome. Everyone's buildings on their side of the map, at least to start. Back to a more standard style. First Reaper headed across, but Serral has already snuck out a drone. Is he going to take down the minerals? Yeah, opens up a path. Actually going to hide from the Reaper all the way down here. Is he going to take the gold? Or is he just... Where are you off to? Just dodging the Reaper. Queen pops out. Oh, grenade? But between the Zerglings, the body block. No chance of sniping off that creep tumor. Queen just hanging out with the Reaper, as it does. A passive star, 3cc, third hatchery on the way. Zergling sneaking by. This all started with a Zergling run by. And doubtful it will end with one, at least at this moment. But hiding the Lings in the back corner, waiting for the Hellions to come out. The Overlord confidently in position here. Not bothering with the Pervert Pillar, but instead checking for the third. Double engineering bay already from Cure. Opting for the mass upgrades right off the bat. So he's angling likely for some sort of 2-2 timing. We'll see if Serral opts for a lair. Skip to the end of that sentence. Overlord poked and prodded and taken down. Did he see? He didn't get nearly close enough to see the engineering bay, but he did see the timing on the third orbital command. So, gives away that very unlikely to have much more behind it besides the Hellions. Maybe a Banshee eventually. But in this case, Cure has skipped the starport to go for the double upgrades, which is quite a commitment. But thankfully for him, at least in the short term, Serral has no inclinations towards early all-ins, like Roaches, Banelings, any of those fancy shenanigans. Another barracks on the way, and a lair now begins for Serral, and a Baneling nest as well. So, opting for a very quick Roach speed, it seems, as opposed to, not Roach speed, Baneling speed, as opposed to getting the upgrades himself. Wow, 4 more barracks in production for Cure. The macro explosion does the friendly fire, such as it is, to kill a creep tumor. And now an armory on the way. Cure with the mass marine upgrades. And it's a little concerning for Serral that he's going to be so far behind in these upgrades. And does he have the gas for a Spire? No. Just main speed. Maybe a Knight is double. Evolution chamber now on the way. But Serral? If he doesn't figure this out relatively quickly, he's got great creep spread. Baneling speed is, of course, a huge deal. But he's going to be a full set of upgrades behind. So, that is quite a hill to surmount. So far, 9 Zerglings and an Overlord have died. Not a single Terran unit. Yet. I'm gonna go ahead and assume that there will be at least one. Overseer will be taken out. And by taken out, I mean by Serral quickly and evade the Marines firing at it. Because, of course, he keeps them alive. Just, those are the little spreadsheet details that Serral does better than anyone else. The reason why he's able to compete, for the most part, with the top players who are able to beat effectively everyone. Things like keeping Overseers alive and not having to spend 50 gas later on for detection. The efficient creep spread. But now, our no-rush 7 minutes has ended. And here come the Hellbats and the Marines. Hellbat timing push. Zerglings looking for the wraparound. No combat shield. Did he forget combat shield? Cure! The People's Terran! Oh no! That's actually a massive deal. More important than any armor upgrade. Combat shield. 10 HE realizes it now. But that actually may save Serral in the short term. That lack of combat shield makes up for the armor upgrade deficit. Because you can just kill the Marines in a single baneling hit. At least when he gets +1 melee attack. That's why that extra 10 HP is important for a ton of breakpoints that Cure is not able to exploit right now. In baneling mines across the field. Well, I guess under the field, if we're being real technical / pedantic. And that's all I have to say about that. He finds another set, but the damage is done. Cure loses 19 Marines to a baneling mine. And now Serral feeling a lot more comfortable. He's up 30 supply. Does he have an infestation pit? The Chew Toy Depot working beautifully there. Giving Cure the time he needs to pull everything together. Finally, combat shield will complete. Though Cure would have rather been attacking into the 4th base right now, rather than desperately trying to hold the line against a mass of Lings and Banes. Overruns the siege tanks. Forced to pick up all the Marines. The Queen's already respreading the creep. And Serral just runs the table with them. A single siege tank is not enough. The Marines are dropping out, but immediately melting to the acid of the Banelings. And just like that, Serral, Mr. Zergachev, or just go right through this wall, actually. And there's no units left. The Baneling mine took out the critical mass of Marines. The lack of combat shield made it so Cure couldn't keep the pressure on. And that means Serral with a comfortable victory. It wasn't as easy as the victory for either player in the previous games, but a victory nonetheless, as Serral with the technical knockout, bringing us to our bonus game. Yes, I've been waiting to show you this. I've been trying to figure out how to show you guys this game, and yes, you made it to the end of it. Because, and this is true, YouTube gets very upset if I have short videos, so we try to maintain a certain length of video, because that's what most StarCraft series are. But, let me introduce you, once again, to, it's Bronze League Heroes, okay? It's taking a second to load, and I don't want people to leave, but Bronze League Heroes! Yes, not Cure, not Serral, but players who actually enjoy the game. And I think you will as well. So, let me introduce you to our heroes. And yeah, that'll do. We'll go with this, I guess. Or maybe here. Does this look good? You know what? There's no time for this, Jimmy. We didn't plan on this. Well, we kind of did, but... So, for our Zerg team, yes, it's 2 Zergs. We have Andeezy and Free Soul. Bronze League here. And our 2 Protoss, both of which, of course, have a Forge on the way. It is Edgeman and Dimsdale Dimmadome. The double D Protoss with the big D cannon rush. Offensive defense is the name of the game. No, the name of the game is StarCraft 2, but for Protoss it is Cheesecraft 2. That is not a wall, but yeah, a cannon, gateway block, and another cannon on the way. Unfortunately, oh, the drones are pulled from both sides. I'm gonna slap down another pylon. That pylon, I think, will power the cannons. The pylon going to be very close to taken down. Oh, by the way, there's another proxy happening. Oh no, they're all pulling the drones back. He abandons his team, and that means the cannons will complete. There was maybe an opportunity to kill the pylons, but no. The double cannon rush will go through. The double cannon proxy Rex, because of course it is. It looks like Edgeman over here is cannon rushing more out of solidarity, but he's got 3 proxy gates on the way. And spine crawlers. The standoff. Well, neither player is... The spine crawlers can't move off of creep, and he can't cannon rush onto it, creating quite a standoff here, but the zealots are looking to break it. More cannon contain. Triple zealot. As clearly these Protoss have coordinated their builds. I'm not sure about the Zergs. And DZ getting sliced and diced by a single zealot. Brandon, no! Okay. Well, problem is the queen is still in a difficult position. Spine crawler moving in. There's 2 probes here now. On the run from the zealots. This hatchery will almost certainly die. Spine crawler about to complete. Spine crawler does beat a cannon if they're both at full HP when all this starts. But emotionally, nobody's at full HP for one reason or another. But the spine crawlers using their impaler tentacles, yes, that's the real term, don't be weird, in order to slap the cannons out of existence. But now there's 6 zealots from the proxy. The queen still poking at the cannons, but a queen on her own is not going to be enough. Oh, roaches completed for Andeezy. So Roach is a very helpful addition. A Twilight Council on the way, as Dedgeman has added on. He's actually walled off, so there will be nothing else coming out. Nobody's gotten Warp Gate. More cannons on the way. The gateways are still producing. And... well, Dimsdale trying to continue cannon rushing, but will be shut down. Though this is an inspiration for Dedgeman's zealots to come down and chase the queen. Brendan, no! Our proud people became refugees. The zealots are actually... where do you go? There's nowhere to go! You can't go up the ramp, and down the ramp isn't safe either. So the pilgrimage has begun. Brenda leaves her home and will escort the drones. Does he have enough? Of course he has enough for a hatch. More spines on the way. A lair. Charge in production for Dedgeman. No expansion for either of the Protoss. 2 Ravagers are slowly but surely chipping away, but shield batteries to back it up. And the shield batteries work for both sides. They're both slapping down shield batteries. These cheesy Protoss. The mass shield battery cannon. They has quite the playbook. What is this? A robotics facility on the way. And, wow, the coordination on the expanding. It's expansion time. High fives. Now this. You looked at Kira versus Serral. And you thought, huh, these guys are pretty good, but honestly a bit predictable. Whereas here, well, whose base is it anyways? The spine crawler line up against the cannons and the shield batteries. Double Nidus. These two teams are so, like, these are actual teams. Unfortunately, you can't go in your teammate's Nidus Worm, which, you know, if they consent to it, I think you should be able to personally, but it's just how it is, all right? So both layers going for a Nidus network to try to evade all of these problems. As long as you have vision from one player, you can drop your Nidus Worm in the opponent's base, whether they like it or not. A lot of people will lie and say they don't like it, but let's be honest with ourselves. The Immortal bashing through. The shield battery's helping out, but that's a lot of spine crawlers. Transfuse. Dark Shrine on the way, of course, but oh no. Or oh yeah, depending on who you're rooting for right now. Meanwhile, the Zealots. Nobody's noticed the Nidus Worm, but will there be any units to go through it? What does he have in there? The Queen, we've arrived! Oh my god! The Queens are trying to get the creep tumors, but the roaches popped out and pushed them out of the way. But there's no cannons. They've circumvented another Nidus! Meanwhile, the drones are evacuating entirely. Free Soul is also, well, he's expanded to the top right corner and he's mining from it. And the Protoss, well, I guess they have the bottom right, but the probes are dead. Dimsdale is down to one probe. The cannon rushing probe. I assume, yes, that's his last probe. And he doesn't have the minerals to re-expand because he's making double Immortal. And now they're expanding the most pure of base trades that I may have ever seen. A Dark Shrine. A Dark Shrine is done. Does he have Warp Gate? No, he doesn't have Warp Gate. He can build out of his gateways Dark Templar. Like it's 1999. Recalls home to his secondary nexus. And oh my god, an entire chiropractor's office of spine crawlers finishes up. As the Immortals will work on the base. I think Team Zerg is adapting, as all Zergs should, but the Immortals recalled home. Are there enough Queens? Does he have the Warp Prism Micro? Let's see it. All right, juggling the Immortals. No, that's not exactly what I meant. I mean, he's trying here. The Queens. He is microing his heart out right now. All right, he's using his mouse and his keyboard at the... Where did those Zealots come from? Did they just walk across the map? I believe they did. The Immortals. Oh no, the Queens try to deal with the Prism. Plausible micro so far. Meanwhile, Dimsdale blasting through. The Immortals will clear up this base. He's rebuilding a spawning pool, and DZ has not been mining for quite a while, but now is mining from what was once considered the Protoss main. And they're both evacuating. Now, you can't get the probes in there if you have the Immortals inside. You gotta make a decision. The probes, and no, there's no room in the Warp Prism. Free Soul tries to expand to the low ground and then realizes the Dark Shrine will be depowered. He could still start production of a Dark Templar. He has them. No, it's too late now. Oh my god, he's expanding. So we're gonna have to start asking how many buildings are left, and then realize there are plenty of buildings left because many of them are shield batteries and cannons. And now we'll start asking how many workers are left. And that's a better question. Dimsdale is at one singular probe, Deadman at 10, whereas Free Soul has 17 workers. Well, that number is dwindling, as the Immortals have found the base. I don't know where the Warp Prism went. Where is the Prism? Okay. But the Immortals found the base. Somebody's pinging, but Well, you know, the broodlings might actually... I don't think there'll be enough. There's the barrier. Dimsdale has not rebuilt his base. It is being revealed. What a beautiful base trade this has been. Huh. Degman is rebuilding probes, and he still has 2 immortals and a warp prism, which on their own could potentially win the game. Dimsdale has rebuilt his base. I think he definitely just got a small loan of 400 minerals from his teammate, as he did not have the money nor the income. The Nidus is bleeding out as Dimsdale re-expands to the previous... We're just going to start the game again. Now, the Protoss have 5 Immortals, a Zealot, a Prism, and 19 probes total to their name. The Zergs have 3 Queens, 11 Zerglings, 8 Roaches, and 24 drones scattered between them. The double Nidus Worm, the networks were taken out, but the worms can still be used to hide. But if they're taken out, then the units will be removed from existence. So it comes down to the Warp Prism Micro of Degman here. If he's able to keep the pressure on, which... Oh, he's gonna try... It looks like he's gonna try to target the Queen. No transfuse! Oh no! One of the Queens dead. He's not targeting the other. The Queen reaching for the Prism! And he's not targeting the Queen! Loses the Immortal with it! You had one job! He recalls the Immortal out, but it falls to the Queens. Oh, the panic! The panic was too much. Panic at the Degman. And now, Andeezy, despite being pummeled throughout the game, has managed to expand and has 45 supply, which is more than anyone else by about 20, and has a Spire in production. And I think Mutalisks are indeed a game-ending choice here. Assuming they don't all fly into the most obvious cannons. Let's see, what kind of vision do they have? Well, they've seen most of this. Our Zergs here. And he has enough money in the bank. I don't know if he got lent any of the resources from his teammate. I don't think so. What a game from both teams here. I think clearly both of them coordinating, not just random players. Both on the same wavelength, for better or worse. I mean, on one side, we have the tag team Nidus Worms. On the other side, we have the pat on the back shield batteries. They've both expanded to their... Well, the base trade is complete now, as both teams have completely removed any vestiges of their former opponents. Well, their current opponents, but... And have successfully expanded to the other side of the map. But with 6 mutas on the way, this tenuous equilibrium may very well be tilted in favor of the Zergs, who've been persecuted across the map. They didn't start the rush, but the mutas may very well end it. If he decides to move it all. Or he can just sit there as well. That's also... I was really ready for that dramatic conclusion, but then I remembered. I kind of forgot what we were watching. Like, if this was Serral, he'd already be in the middle line. But, if this... Well, a lot of things would have to happen for this to have been Serral. Okay? And most of them bad. And concerning. So... Well... Immortals on their way across. Muta's on the way. Dimsdale is back up almost to the probe count he started with. Dedgeman is getting +1 shields. And a Dark Shrine again. The Immortals, very brave. The Mutas have built up, about to be double digits. The supply is dangerously close to triple digits. But the Mutas and the Zerglings and the Zergs have been left alone for too long. There's more Immortals at the back. He warps in, but the Mutas will clean up the field. The Queens may die yet again, but Dimsdale taps it out. No GG, and DC hits him with the XD. And a WP from Free Soul. Wow. A bit BM, but I think well deserved after getting double tag team cannon rushed. And that's it. No GGs for the Protoss. A true example of what real StarCraft 2 looks like. And hopefully you enjoyed the icing on the cake of Cure versus Serral. Where Serral demonstrated his mechanical dominance and Cure demonstrated how strong a well-executed cheese can be. Whereas here we saw how entertaining a weakly executed cheese can be. No matter what your lactose interest and tolerance is, though, it'd be awesome if you could like and subscribe. If you haven't made it there, if you made it to the end and you're listening to this silly rant that is mostly there, so we have the end screen, well, it'd be awesome if you could subscribe. Otherwise, if you got the means of motivation, it's awesome to check out Patreon or YouTube membership. But again, liking and subscribing is still free for now. Check out the second channel, Winter Gaming TV, if you're interested. Otherwise, thank you for watching. I hope I made your day just a little bit better. Good luck. Have fun. I'll see you next time. Stay chill.